Welcome to the Keelhauled podcast. I'm your host, CaptainLogun, and we've got a lot of Sea of Thieves news to cover today. So tie yourselves to the mast and hold fast. Ahoy there, pirates. I hope you had yourselves a good week and a good weekend. I know I did. This week, we're going to be talking to the Gold Hoarders. They are the patrons over at the Keelhauled podcast Discord. They are joining us this week to talk about the community episode for the end of September. We do this at the end of each month. They join us to talk about the game. We're going to be talking about Captaincy, Season 7, the adventure, the mystery, a whole bunch of stuff. So let's get into it. But before I do any of that, I have to thank the rest of the patrons. They are the ones that are supporting this podcast and making it available to you that I can make it look and sound so good. They are helping pay for the bills. So thank you to them for this support. It's helped out a ton. So thank you to People's Republic, L Cute, Balls, Bam Bam Bagel, Captain Hasco, Captain Hayes, Chateau Neuf, Zombie Killer, Cloud, Cosmic Johnson, Davram TV, El Jefe Esteban, Fergatron, Trickster, Jabaro5, Carl Embo, Kazia the Rogue, Lumpy SRQ, Dub Dub Goose, Evil Morpheus, Xbox Mike 29, Murphy Lives, Mutinous Max, NX Gamer, Raja the Brave, Regis Stella, Replicated Flame, Rust Belt Kid, Norwegian, Skinny Matt, Skamelt 666, Sudesh, Captain Dasm, That Kilted Guy, TN Professor, Real Big Tuna, Big Bad Pad, Mina Fairy, Super Pack, Music Me, The Lore Chronologist, Deadeye Dre, Hager AWOL, Ghost Boy 20, Evil Martha, Peter Miller, Rooski Doo, Thor Von Blitz, Windsor Chris, and Zam. Wow. Thank you all so much for your support. It means the world to me, and this show wouldn't be nearly as good without. So thank you to all of your help and your support. Also, I feel like I said Hager Owl weird this time. So Hager, sorry about that. But welcome to the Gold Hoarders. And with that, let's get into their conversation. Welcome, everyone, to the latest September Keelhauled podcast episode with the community members. This is our Gold Hoarder episode. We're going to be talking with a bunch of folks about Season 7, the latest adventure, the mystery, whether or not people did it. We'll potentially talk about the book. I haven't gotten to finish it up yet, so I don't know how many people have even had an opportunity to pick it up. So we'll try and see if we can skirt around spoilers. If that's the case, we have a couple folks that were just coming back from XEP. No, what is it? What's the
EGX?
EGX. Thank you. Just came back from EGX after talking to some of the devs there. So we'll see if we can chat with them about their experience chatting to Mike Chapman and if Joe Need is actually locked up in their bedroom closet. But let's kind of go through the list and see who is with us today. Joining us, as always, is El Jefe Esteban. Jefe, how you doing? Welcome.
Doing well. Glad to be here.
Awesome. And coming back, Carl Embo. Carl, welcome back.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
And as always, Mina Ferry, who recently just got a tattoo of the Keelhauled crew. Mina, how you doing? How's your arm?
I'm doing good. The arm's all right.
That's good. I think I'm next on the list. I'm gonna go get that tattoo done. Mutinous Max, welcome, Mutinous. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. Also with us is Norwegian.
Hey guys, hope everybody's doing well.
Awesome. Glad to have you back. NX Gamer is joining us. NX, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. Trickster is with us today. Trickster, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How you doing?
Good. And then, of course, we have Big Bad Pad. Pad, how you doing? How you feeling?
Yep, doing well. Thank you very much. Yes.
Got some drinks in you, I think?
Maybe one or two.
Okay. So nothing really then.
One or two too many, I think.
He lies.
Okay. And then, of course, you just heard Xbox Mike 29. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, all good. Thanks. It's good to be back.
Fantastic. I'm glad you guys are all here. We just got off the last episode with Caleb. We had some really interesting conversations about captaincy. I'm really kind of curious as people were talking to me about that episode. I was looking forward to getting a chance to kind of talk to you all about captaincy. But to start off, we recently just got done doing the latest Sea of Thieves Community Day for Season 7. And I kind of wanted to open this up to folks and hear what your thoughts have been for this community day. It was a very unique one in that instead of giving us additional gold with Gold Rush, they disabled the Gold Rush aspect of it. And the bonus that they turned on was ramping up Ancient Skellies. So I'm kind of curious to hear some from anyone that had an opportunity to sail. What was your experience like? And if you managed to find ancient skellies on your kind of venture out into the world. So did anyone want to pick up and kind of share their thoughts?
Yeah, we I sailed, I guess, kind of two main sessions, kind of morning session and the evening session. And in the course of that, we ran into between 7 and 8 ancient skellies, and I made somewhere between 1,200 and 1,500 ancient coins. So yeah, I was happy with that. So I've got my next battle pass, plunder pass, whatever it's called, ready to go.
That's fantastic. Anyone else pick up some ancient skellies on this latest community day?
Yeah, I did. I was doing Fort of the Damned with some other crew, and every time we started a wave, for some reason, ancient skelly spawned mid-wave. So we had like 4 at the end. We had 4 ancient skellies. We stole them all, but and that's why we had our rivalry with the other sloop and sunk. They didn't appreciate that. But yeah, made some ancient coins. It was awesome.
It's fantastic. Anyone else have any good ancient skelly stories? How many you got?
I sailed with a buddy of mine during a community day, and we were doing a Fort of Fortune. We only ran into the one ancient skelly, but the boss got stuck in the rock, and we're just trying to figure out how to get him out, and the skeletons spawn when we're trying to get this thing out of the rock.
Oh, man.
So we're just like, okay, where are we here? We have this guy lapping. Next thing we know, we hear it coming out of the ground. We're like, where is it?
That's always the scariest, right? Like when you hear it and you're like, okay, where is it coming out from? Like, how much time do I have? You're kind of freaking out, trying to make sure that you don't miss it.
Yeah, we managed to get it, but it caught us off guard.
So I'm curious to hear, how did you guys feel about the ancient skellies as kind of the bonus in this instance? Was that something that you really enjoyed? Did you think that this was a good test for Rare? Do you want to see this be the way that they do the community days in the future?
I'd actually like to say something on that. We went to, obviously we were at EGX, me and Paddy, today, and it's actually quite interesting to hear Christine, the community social manager. She was talking about that and some of this stuff, or I think at least these events where they give stuff away was partly her idea, if not entirely. But obviously she has to go through them and sort of suggest these things to Rare, and then the people who are obviously running the game in the background then have to then say, that's a great idea. Let's make sure we don't break anything while we're doing it. So it was quite interesting to hear that the idea came from her, and then they have to figure out what they're going to do so that it doesn't do too much. Because like Joe Neat said, we were essentially giving away money for this event. And, you know, we're not all as lucky as Paddy and Mina that can get like 8 or whatever it was. Ancient skellies. I only got 2 myself. But I thought it was a great idea. But obviously I think they probably, it seemed like later on in the day, people were receiving less. So I think they probably realized they were giving away maybe slightly too much, dialed it back a bit. But yeah, it was good though. I enjoyed it. I think it's a good idea, and I think we'll see that again.
Yeah, I was really happy with what I got. I think I got 4 ancient skellies over the course of the time that I was playing, and I think it came out to like maybe let's say like $4, $4 to $6 overall. And for me, that's fantastic. Like getting that for 4 or 5 hours worth of normal selling. I think what really did kind of surprise me that they did it, but also just that I was really excited to see that this was something they were willing to actually push through. And I'm glad that it did, because I think it really kind of opened up people to wanting to spend more in the Emporium, knowing that they were going to get a little bit more of a boost than they normally would if they were just going through the normal plunder pass. Hefe, what did you think about that? And then let's grab a Norwegian after Hefe.
Yeah, so honestly, I was kind of surprised that they did that. I mean, because that's their revenue stream. their main revenue stream at this point, I would assume. And based on the numbers that they released, I kind of just did some, I don't know, rough kind of on the back of a piece of paper calculations. And on the low end, I'm thinking they gave away at least $200,000 worth of ancient coins based on the numbers of the skellies that they said that had spawned up. Yeah, that's just a guess and just kind of just a rough estimation of an average of maybe 100 per skelly. So I was very surprised by that because that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's insane to think like in what you're referring to is, they put out some numbers, that was, from from September 18th. There was 166,000 ancient skellies smashed on Community Day. There was 203 billion gold earned and about 15.2 million cannonballs fired, as well as 2.3 million emotes used, and 880,000 roughly grogs drunk. So it was nice to kind of see, based on this Community Day, just some of the numbers, but to think, if you average at least 100 to maybe like 120 ancient coins, times that by 166,000, that's a fair chunk of change that Rare is going to have Big Daddy Phil Spencer pay out so that we can continue to buy little pets in the Emporium and stuff. So very curious. Norwegian, what were some of the things that you wanted to kind of share about this?
I thought it was a great idea. It was goodwill towards the community, especially after everything that's been going on lately. Just nice to see them reinvest in the community, bring more people in. I'm sure they'll get the return. People are going to play longer. They're going to get those cosmetics they want, invest in the next battle pass, season pass, whatever you call it. It was good. I enjoyed it. Loved it. It was a great idea. Hope to do it again.
Yeah, I hope so as well too. It would go a long way, given that we have recently just gotten an email kind of asking for some feedback on the stability of the game. It was very interesting to see a survey about that come through. So they are very much aware that the servers have not been performing as optimally as they had hoped. I will say that I think that the Community Day overall was a success. I think they've really kind of understood like what the expected turnout is going to be for these, and they're kind of planning accordingly. How did you guys feel about the lack of a gold rush though? Did that impact how you played the game, or was that just kind of like it's all right? Mina, what do you think?
I didn't mind there not being a gold rush. I mean, we were earning so much with each hand in, especially if we had an emissary up. It was ridiculous. And that was throughout pretty much the whole day because they reached level 5 for the tweeting stuff really quite quickly. So the fact that there was no gold rush, it didn't bother us, and it just meant that we could sell just as and when we felt like it. The fact that it also ran really quite smoothly, I didn't really have any issues on the day getting into the game or anything like that. Was really, really nice.
Yeah, I really appreciated that. Carl, you've been pretty quiet. Any thoughts or feelings on the Community Day? How was your experience?
Unfortunately, I was busy for this Community Day, so I didn't get much time to really dive into it. I managed to get on, so I got my flag. I didn't get any gold, any ancient skellies, but I did quite like the fact that they were rewarding us with something that would usually cost us money.
Yeah.
I felt that was a nice twist on it, to be fair. And yeah, with removing the gold rush, I'm not too fussed about that because I know for a fact that before long there will be another Golden Glory weekend where we'll have gold rush. We'll do it all over again anyway. So considering they gave us something that we can actually use to buy emotes, ship sets, all that type of stuff, which usually costs money, I'm pretty pleased with that, to be honest.
Yeah, I've been pretty happy with it. I think you really touch on something that is good to keep in mind, is that we are going to be getting a Gold Rush, Golden Glory weekend at some point. They've been doing one about every month now, so even if it isn't technically labeled as a Community Day, it is still a great opportunity for them to give us a way to really kind of rack in some gold. How have you guys been treating these? Are you really trying to spend your time grinding out one specific ledger when you're doing this? Because I generally see a lot of folks running Athena. Is Athena kind of the best right now? or is Reaper still kind of on top for these Golden Glory weekends or these community days?
I think I made about 2 million, and most of that was on Athena over that weekend. So Athena was definitely a good one for me. And just a quick back on that ancient skellies. One of those ancient skellies gave me 549 ancient coins. So, it's not like they were scrimping as well on some of them. It was a good amount. So yeah, but for me, definitely the Athena was something that made me a lot of money and a decent chunk, about 2.5 levels of Athena. So I'm 26.5 now. So yeah.
Nice. Anybody buy anything from the Emporium after we got all these coins? Anyone take advantage of any of the sales that they had?
I'm still holding out on next month's or next season's Plunder Pass personally.
Yeah, me too. Trickster, you say no?
Yeah, they didn't have anything in there that I really liked, or I don't have already. So, then about the ancient coins, I didn't get on to about 11 p.m. myself, so I didn't get any. But I was mostly on the books. I was doing the Athena voyage, and then did the level 5 Athena voyage. So I spent about an hour afterwards on 2 different islands and never got one though.
Mina, you said that you did buy something?
Yeah, I bought a bundle of emotes and some ship stuff that I had kind of had my eye on, but hadn't had the chance to buy yet.
Oh, nice. I'm glad that at least the it's getting results. Like you're getting to be able to do the thing that you want to do as a result of this, which is kind of, it's a nice thing. They always do these little sales, and I don't really talk to anyone about whether or not they're taking advantage of it. Patty, I think you and I have, and Mike, I think we all have the same feeling as we're kind of we're clutching onto our ancient coins for dear life as we wait for the next season to come out, because we're not sure like what's going to be in the season pass.
I think the thing is that I've spent my money on the things I already wanted from the Emporium, so I'm just gonna, like say, save it for either next season or for the next round of ship cosmetics that come out.
Yeah, that's fair. I can understand that.
I, like you, Logan, have bought pretty much everything in the Emporium. So everything that I want is pretty much already been bought. So I have no reason to buy anything yet. That will change. But yeah, that's me for now. Just waiting on the pass.
Yeah, same for sure. Okay, well, unless someone else has something they want to jump in with, I did want to get your guys' thoughts on the adventure. This adventure, seriously, the Siren's Prize kind of shocked me. I was genuinely thinking that this was going to be something pertaining to Flameheart Jr.'s ship, and that is really not the case from what I can tell. But we got a ton of lore kind of breaking down the ancients. So just kind of on a surface level, I wanted to talk to you guys. Has everyone had an opportunity to go and actually do the adventure?
I quickly ran through it, but I've not gone through it fully on my own yet.
You quickly ran through this. Please tell me, how did you quickly do this? Because it took me forever. Because
I basically hopped on with one of my buddies, and he was like, "Oh, I'm just quickly running through this. Just help me out with this." And he kind of just ran through it. He must have had a guide or something. Just sped through the whole thing. I was like, okay, no idea what's going on here. So since I have been taking my time going through it, although I did, I'm basically doing one at a time, like breaking it down, and make sure I get all the tablets.
Yeah.
And paying attention to all the lore and everything like that. But the 2 times I've done it, I've been sank whilst I've been down there. So it's going well so far, should we say?
Yeah. Let me real quick. I just I'm kind of curious because this has me thinking. How many folks how many of you were coming back up to a mermaid after going down into the shrines after talking to Belle? Because the shrines, for all intents and purposes, Belle has us going out to retrieve 3 different items, and we have to go to the Shrine of Ocean's Fortune, the Shrine of Ancient Tears, and the Shrine of Tribute to be able to pick up what is effectively, I think, the voice, the memories, and or not the memories, the dreams and the eyes of the ancients, right? So I'm curious, how many of you guys came back up and found out that your ship had been sunk I personally had one opportunity where when I came back up, my ship wasn't sunk, but they definitely wanted to be at the shrine that I was at. So they just raised anchor, dropped sail, and sent my ship off into the distance. Thankfully, not into a rock or anything. They just let my ship kind of sail away. So that when I came back, I had to turn around, and it bought them some time. But did anybody have any problems with crews just sinking their ships as they were going through this? NX?
The most we had happen was when we went down to the shrines to try to get all the items, clear the whole ledger for that thing. Our ship got sunk while we were down there, and the crew that sunk us came down to greet us. So that was an interesting interaction.
That's so weird.
They're just like, "Hey, what you guys doing down here?" And kind of escalated from there.
Man. Hefe, you said you had people?
One of the shrines, we came back, and there was people on our boat rifling through our supplies, and so we showed them the pointy end of our sword, and then chased down their ship and sank them, and continued on our way.
So not too big of an issue, at least in that case.
No issue at all. We were able to get it. Well, the only issue we had nothing to do with players. We got to the very end to finish the adventure, clicked on finish the adventure, and it made us repeat the second chapter. So then we had to go do all the shrines again.
Oh, I wish I had known that. Yeah.
So we just dropped one person off at each place, and so we didn't traveling back and forth. Luckily, we're on a galley, so we had 4 of us, and so we had enough people to kind of just send, in every 4 corners of the earth, and we were able to knock it out in 20, 25 minutes. It wasn't terrible, but it was
that's not
somewhat
too bad.
Annoying. Yeah.
Definitely seems like it helps if you have multiple people. Running solo, it definitely took me a while to be able to do this, and even when I had help, we were still kind of taking our time going through trying to find all the different tablets. Pad and Mike, I think you guys had some thoughts.
Yeah, it's not an issue for me because I have plenty of time to play this game. But I know that there are people out there who are time restricted, and so whilst it's great that you get this adventure and you get to go to one island, then you get to go to 3 shrines, and then you go back to the island. That if you're unlucky like we are in Hefe, you sailing mostly against the wind, that adventure could take you 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's definitely
and a lot of people haven't got 2.5 hours in one go to sit and do any adventure. It's
tough, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about that later on if we have some time to dive into the mystery as well too. But yeah, this one, it was interesting because much like the adventure where we're kind of going after the history of what happened to Merrick to uncover who murdered Merrick, it's definitely a lot of go between, but instead of islands, it's actually going down into the shrines, and shrines can take a fair amount of time if you're not too familiar with them, or if you're trying to hunt down the tablets compared to just looking for the little things on the island. So it was interesting to kind of see this difference. I really enjoyed kind of going back to the shrines. It was nice to kind of reacquaint myself with them, and considering they're so tied to the ancients, and that's kind of what the whole goal of this adventure has been. I was very happy to kind of like have an opportunity to kind of immerse myself in their world, if that makes sense. Mike, what was some thoughts that you wanted to share? Or are you good?
Yeah. I had an issue where I came back and a crew had sailed my ship into the Raw. We spent some time down there trying to find some of the tablets.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, we just got fed up. Thought we'll come back and do them. Went back to the ship, and we knew somebody was around because we'd seen another crew, another person, just one running around. It turned out it was a galleon, but they had sailed. One of them had sailed my ship off and literally dropped anchor right next to a volcano.
Yeah.
Bit irritating, but I mean, we purposely didn't sail with anything on the ship because you're in a mermaid shrine for some time. It's not worth trying to collect loot.
100%.
So, yeah, it wasn't worth trying to risk it, and it would have been a problem. But because we thought ahead, it wasn't. So not the end of the world. Just another minor inconvenience from other crew members.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's what you live with, isn't it?
That's Sea of Thieves for you. And
I also have a problem with the title isn't unlocking for me. I have all of
weird.
I now have all of the tablets. I've done all of the shrines, obviously, and I've done everything. Everything is ticked off.
Yeah.
But I don't have the title. So.
Definitely, and I'm sure you're really. I don't have to tell you, but for kind of a PSA for pirates that are out there, definitely if this is something that you're running into, make sure that you're screenshotting the deeds that show that everything's checked off. Because when you go to put in a ticket, you can add images, and having a time-stamped image really does help with the team to make sure that they can go in and just manually give you the title if it's not showing up in your inventory as well too. So definitely make sure that you're trying to record that kind of stuff if you can capture a clip or a screenshot from your console or from PC. Always helps when you run into this kind of a situation. So, and I'm assuming, Mike, you'll probably see if it does actually award it, or kind of take a look and see like what's going on with that. Because I know I was having the same problem back when we were doing the battle for Golden Sands, and it turned out to be a user error on my end. But thankfully, like I had enough time to be able to get that fixed up. But some of these bugs, in Hefe, I had the same problem too, where we clicked complete when we went back to Bell, and it re-kicked up the adventure and told us to go do it. We were so kind of out of time at that point that we just decided we would come back to it and try it over again. And that was at that point, like when we finally came back in, we spawned in, talked to Belle, and she was like, complete it. And we didn't have to worry about having to go through and do it all over again. So there was a couple glitches that I noticed as far as the complete or continue with the adventure that hopefully will be brought. We won't have these kind of issues in future ones, but yeah, it can definitely get kind of scary when they tell you to go back out to the shrines and do them all over again.
Yeah, it's a bit inconvenient, but it's I did mention it today to Mike, but yeah, it's not the end of the world. I'm not as fussed about the title, but it is a bit, when you've done the work to get it, it's a bit of a letdown. So hopefully it will unlock before the next, before it ends.
Yeah, I'm curious. And Trickster, actually, I think you had a comment that you wanted to make as well too before I switch over to another thought that I just had.
Yeah, I had a couple runs of other pirates. When I was down to the first one, there was a ship already there, so I left them alone, and I should have sunk them. So when they got backed up, they sunk my ship. Then when I was doing the third Siren Shrine, someone messaged me, "I'm gonna leave a rowboat on your ship." Yeah, there's a robot on my ship when I got back there. And then while I was doing the mirror, trying to get the mirror on the Old Faithful, I was there for like an hour. Someone came and started attacking me, so I scuttled to think I had left the game.
That's funny. Yeah.
And that's where I got my first ancient skelly in a long time while I was on the island.
It's good that you got it though.
Yeah.
One of the things that I did want to ask and see if this was me or if other people ran into this as well. And I think, Pad, you're the one that kind of sparked this in the chat here by mentioning that Mike had talked about the wording on the adventures. I fully admit that this was a me not reading everything and processing it situation, but I don't know if you guys did this or not, but when I went to the shrines, and I got the little ancient chest, which I think is adorable. I really want those little ancient chests for my little display case. But I grabbed those and I swam them back up to my ship. And then I waited until I collected all three. And then I went back to Bell because I read the first paper that was like, bring them back to me. And I was like, okay. So then I went and to go turn them in. And Bell's like, no, you got to turn these into the ancient priests. And I was like, okay. So I looked to the left and I looked to the right and I'm like, okay, cool. Can you guys take these? And they're like, no, we're ancient guards. We're not ancient priests. And I'm like, oh my God, y'all look the same. So I then had to go and swim back down with the little ancient chest and turn it into the to the ancient priest that was down in there. So I realized after doing it twice, I read the actual dialogue, and the dialogue does actually tell me that I have to turn it into the priest. I just was not paying close enough attention because I've been playing this game for 4 years, so I just leap to conclusions. Am I the only one that did that? Did anyone else run into the situation? Please tell me I'm not alone.
You're not alone. I did that with the first shrine I visited, and I'm like, wait a minute.
That's good. I'm glad I'm not alone.
Same here. Me and Chris were Stipe. We were halfway to we were right at the next one, and we were in a party chat with Paddy, and Paddy's like, "Why did you bring it with you? You're supposed to give it to the guy." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'll just jump off here and do this next one, and Chris, you can go back with that one." So yeah, you're not the only one, mate.
I'm glad no one bothered to like go and collect all 3. Because I legit, like, I was trying to work out, like, okay, there's a sloop that's following me. I think they're on it too, but I don't want them to steal my little chest, because then they'll just head to Bell and they'll skip out on doing this while I'm down trying to get this third one. And I'm like trying to like take the little ancient chest, and I'm sticking them in the mer person, or I'm sticking them in the mer statue so they're safe. And then I'm like having to go back all the way up. I take the mermaid back to my ship. I grab the second one and I swim it all the way down, and I stick it back in the mermaid statue while I'm working on the third shrine. I get all 3. I raise anchor. I sail off, and I get to Belle, and she's like, "Nah, you got to take these back to the people." And I'm like, "Oh my God, what did I do?" So yeah, I really have to remind myself. I need to go and actually read the deeds. I don't know about you all, but I didn't even know that there were stone tablets until the second time I actually did it, because I was not anticipating that. And when I finally read the deeds, I was like, oh, they're stone tablets. I have to read these. Okay, now I have to look for them, because the whole dialogue from the priest was not something that I never bothered to like understand what the thing he was talking about was, where he had to go and find all 5. Hefe, you're saying I have to read the deeds first?
Yeah, that's where I start. Always do that first, because it gives you an idea of just a general outline of what all you got to do. So, Logan, that was a noob move there, buddy.
You know what that's called? It's called not wanting to be spoiled. That's what that's called. I wanted to experience it fresh, as if I didn't know how the game operated, so that I could give feedback from an earnest perspective of not knowing what to do. Preparations. You guys are razzing me now.
You see, to me, that's like one of the first things you've got to do. So if you do it all in one go, I find it a lot easier, because the deeds don't really give too much away, I'd say. But yeah 100% deeds first.
All right. So I'll just read the deeds in that case. But yeah, what did you get? Did anyone take the time to actually read all the lore that was in the tablets? Am I the only one?
So I went back after, like, I didn't really read them while we were doing them, but I just enough to know kind of generally what it was talking about. But when we got done the next day, when I had some downtime at work, I pulled up the wiki, and they've got them on there kind of in, like, I guess, chronological order. I guess there's not really a order to them, but they had them all together, and being able to read them all in one go, I thought was much easier to understand it all than getting the little pieces here and there. But the amount of lore that was in those tablets was significant.
Yeah, really, really surprised by that. Did you guys, anyone find like a more fondness for the ancients after reading through all of them? Trickster, how did you feel?
Oh, I really like the lore, especially about the Sea of the Damned. So apparently that's where they all went. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it kind of answered the age-old question of what happened to the ancients. You know, did they die out or anything like that? Turns out they all just decided that the Sea of the Damned was based off of memories, and the memories that they had were of beautiful paradises. And they're like, all right, well, apparently this is better than the Sea of Thieves, so we're gonna go there. And I don't know, felt a little weird. Felt like a little like this was Sea of Thieves' version of everyone drinking the Kool-Aid. But you know, if that's where they wanted to go, that's where they wanted to go, right?
That whole sort of going to the Sea of Tribute, as they call it, because like you say, it was build-up of memories of beautiful lands. Are they seeing something different to what we see? Does it look different, or
I mean, it's got it, right?
It's got it, hasn't it? Unless their idea of paradise is a gloomy world that wouldn't look out of place in the wilds. In that case, they could have just moved to the wilds.
It really does speak to how terrible pirates are, that when we think of the Sea of the Damned, what we see is the really not like not extravagant, beautiful paradise that we that we get, it's really just like this is not pretty kind of place. But they're living in paradise, I guess.
Still around.
Ahoy there, pirates. This is the ad for this episode, and I did want to let you know if you wanted to avoid these and just get a regular filler, you can head over to the Patreon. There's a special feed just for patrons that get the ad-free version. If you want to keep listening, though, I can't say I blame you, because this week I want to let you know about Loot Crate and getting 15% off of most crates and crate subscriptions when you use the link and code RobotsRadio in the show notes. Also, you can head over to audiobooks.com, get your first 3 audiobooks for free, and that can include any 2 VIP books, or use the affiliate link for Green Man Gaming. If you're a PC gamer or you'd like to save money on games, it's one of the benefits of being a PC gamer. Head over to Green Man Gaming. You can get codes for Steam, Epic, any of the different stores that they have deals going on. They have deals going on all the time, and if you plan on buying there, please consider using our affiliate link. All of that goes straight to me through the network. Thank you all so much for everything that you do to support this podcast. It means the world to me, and I continue to try and improve the quality and the content for you. With that, pirates, let's get back to the show. I guess if anything, for the adventure, I guess the last thing that I wanted to ask is, how do you guys feel about this whole Great Warrior thing?
It intrigues me. I'm interested to see where it goes.
I think any of us that have read the newest book need to maybe just stay out of this bit.
Is it a little too spoilery to dive into that if you haven't read the book?
It's definitely related, yeah.
Okay. Oh, we'll kind of leave that. I thought it was amazing. I was really excited that we were going to be releasing the Soul of the Great Warrior. I don't know what it means yet, but I'm very, very happy to see that we're getting something that looks like we'll finally dive into the culmination of what's it called? Flameheart. Patty, you say the same thing, kind of lots about the book. Mike Chapman.
Yeah, we spoke to him today. We asked him some questions and we're excited.
Do you guys want to, as we're kind of wrapping up the adventure, do you guys want to share some of your thoughts on what was going on over there?
Yeah. We had numerous conversations about many different things. There was a lot of Monkey Islands talk from me and several other people that were there, and it sounded promising. Nothing set in stone. Sounded like Mike was maybe more just crowdsourcing what each person wanted, because obviously you can't put everything in, So which bits of Monkey Islands would people enjoy seeing most? So and obviously there was a varied response from all of us because we all like different bits. So that was interesting. But it was definitely sounded promising, like something would be probably be coming eventually.
Be cool.
He spoke about the licensing for Monkey Islands was quite easy because it's a game, and unlike the Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, which took some time, took some negotiating. Anything else they add, or any changes they make to any of the designs for things like Jack, the undead monkey we spoke about, any changes that are made to it to put it into the game to caricature, they're not exact replicas, are they? Like,
yeah,
the ship that's in the game of the Black Pearl isn't the Black Pearl, but it's of a similar sort of design. All of those things had to be submitted to Disney, the Pirates of the Caribbean people, and Jerry Bruckheimer directly.
Yeah.
And you have to get approval from all three before you can do anything. So that's a big hurdle to get around. Whereas when he said that when he talked to the people from Monkey Islands, LucasArts, they just said, sorry, what? You want to put Monkey Islands in the game? Yeah, do it. So it was quite easy to do for that one. That was an easy part of the development that, and I think because of that, I think that's almost a certain that we will get something else. We don't know what it is yet, or in what degree, how much of it we'll get, but I think we will get something eventually. Other things involved improvements to the Hunter's Call. He said that that's something that they do want to expand on eventually. But he did say, if we're going to do it, we want to go big, whatever that meant.
Yeah. and I can see that. Like they want to bring in another world event. They want to bring something that will drive engagement to that. So I can imagine them not just adding more fish, but wanting to really ramp up something that would be cool to make a big deal about it. Plus they probably, I don't know, man. I don't know if you guys have been seeing it, but there was some stuff on Twitter that was really kind of cool, seeing like some folks that were actually kind of Eridar was building out like a huge kind of hunter's call shop that had like a big shark kind of hanging off one of those racks that they use for like taking photos of it and stuff. It just, I don't know, it'd kind of be kind of cool to see Hunter's Call kind of move over to the actual outposts.
He did apologize. He did apologize because I did ask why we haven't got a Hunter's Call representative at Stephen Spoils to replace Merrick.
Oh yeah.
He said that is something that we really should have done by now. So yeah, I think that's something that will get fixed relatively quickly, I think.
Yeah.
Because I said he's got about 1 million family members, relatives. So yeah, I think that's something that should get done relatively quickly.
I was thinking it would be funny if for Halloween we got like a little jack-o'-lantern and we just put it on like a scarecrow and just stuck it over by Stephen Spoils with a little deposit, the little deposit bucket, and you just dump your fish into the bucket and it gives you credit. I think that would be a good go between until we fill that position. Well, it's awesome that you guys got to go there and you got to talk with Mike. I'm jealous because I love chatting with him. I love getting an opportunity to corner him and ask him questions about stuff. I'm glad that you guys had that chance. It really does always kind of like speak to the fact that I think Rare really does love their community. They are constantly trying to find new and interesting things to bring to the game to give us an opportunity to really have like that wow moment, that big surprise and reveal that they love to do.
We did actually get to speak to a community manager or social media manager. I forget what he was, but he worked at Ubisoft, and he was wearing a Sea of Thieves t-shirt, and he said that even though he now works for Ubisoft, he's still a massive Sea of Thieves fan. And we did mention about, he asked us about what we thought of Skull and Bones, and we said we were excited, looking forward to trying it, and we have been since it was announced. We were told we don't speak about when we announced it because it was a bit of a sore subject because it's been a while. But yeah, no, he was a nice bloke, and he it's nice to know that he's looking, as a Sea of Thieves fan, is looking forward to the game coming out to see what everyone thinks about it, which was a good one. And B, he was in awe of the Sea of Thieves community, and he could only hope that their game would reach that sort of level. So yeah, it was nice to speak to him. So that was good.
Yeah, it makes sense too. Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that out. I love the idea that you guys are coming up with in chat here about this Hunter's Call event with sharks with laser beams or sharks with kegs tied to them. I'm really curious. I would love to see sharks that have kegs tied to them, and you have to shoot the keg before the shark rams you and blows up your ship. That'd be fantastic. As we're kind of rounding out this episode, I wanted to should we jump into the mystery? Do we have time for that? Do you guys have some thoughts on the mystery you want to share? I don't know if everyone's gotten to do it, so I don't want to spoil it for everyone though. Okay, so we got some folks with some thoughts about it. Let's do me a favor though. Before we jump into the mystery, this is the DeMarco mystery that got solved. Really fantastic ending. Let's try to, you know what? All right, I'll do this. This is your spoiler warning. If you haven't done the mystery yet, which involves going around to multiple islands to do some stuff. There's a couple guides out there, thanks to the Ancient Isles University, Merfolk's Lullaby, things like that. There's ways you can kind of dig around in here if you need to find the way to do it. I don't know when it's going to end, if it's ever going to end, or if it's just going to stay the way it is. But consider this your spoiler warning. So if you haven't done it yet, you don't want to be spoiled, stop with the episode here. We'll kind of end out the episode here, and the rest of this episode we'll just kind of keep as a way of talking about like what the mystery was like, what you guys thought about it, and that way we don't have to worry about spoiling it for anyone if they're still listening. All right. So DeMarco's mystery has been solved. We've discovered what it is. I'm very excited to think about what's going to happen from here. But kind of going down the list, Hefe, did you got to finish it up? What did you think of it?
It was really interesting. The thing that I liked about it the most, the very end kind of thing that you do, I really liked. And the fact that we got to see the Pirate Lord get out of his chair and, stop leaning against the mast on your ship and actually do something, and actually uses his power to like actually fight, I thought was really cool. Like we need more of that in the game, I think, for especially when I feel like the game is getting to the point like it's I feel like we're getting pushed towards this great war between two different sides, and if we really want to be, enticed to fight for the Pirate Lord, I don't know, I just feel like we need to see the Pirate Lord actually care.
Yeah.
And I think that this was the first time that I've actually seen something like that and been like, all right, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Trickster, I know you got to go, so jump in here and give some thoughts on the mystery.
Yeah, overall, I thought it was mostly good, except for all the time gating.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes go 2 or 3 weeks without nothing. But I just mostly kept up both on Mermaid's Lullaby's Discord and hitting this one in your Discord.
Yeah.
But oh my god, all this stuff is pretty cool, especially the ending. I was like, oh my god, find the Pirate Lord actually did something.
Yeah, it was really great. I really enjoyed that. Going back up to the top of the list, Carl, did you get a chance to do it? Did you enjoy it if you did?
I actually did this yesterday, and I did it solo.
Oh, you too?
My god, that took so long.
Yeah.
I had to use a guide because I had no idea what I was doing. I tried just like, I know it's these locations and trying to work it out, but I couldn't.
Same.
But yeah, so I did the whole thing, no issues. Got down there. There's no way I would have figured out the end puzzle without a guide. I still now do not know how to work that out. But the ending, I did like the ending. I think it built up quite nicely to it, and it leaves it quite open to the next option. Of course, as soon as it's completed, a new area pops up in the Bildrat's reputation, which suggests that we are definitely going to be getting a lot more to work out. The whole thing, though, was very dragged out, a lot of time gating. But how some of the things are worked out, I would love to know.
Yeah.
But in all, though, it was a good experience. I enjoyed it. A good story, and I don't think it's over yet.
Oh, far from over as far as the storyline itself, but definitely like it's good to get. I'm really glad that we got the resolution. Mina, what did you think of it? I'm pretty sure you got to do it, right?
Yes, I did do it. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think I've done it a couple of times now, actually.
Oh, really? Oh my god. Okay.
Well, we had some people that couldn't be there the first time.
I'll let them do it on their own. So what did you think?
No. I really enjoyed it. The how they figured out where all this stuff was, I do not know. Kudos to them, to Ancient Isles Uni and Rare Thief in that, because we only did it using a guide. We were not going to try and do it without. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was quite cool, and I really liked the ending.
Yeah.
It was nice to see that side of the Pirate Lord, the kind of daddy side.
Yeah, I was just about to say the father aspect of it, him actually caring about his kids. It was great.
Yeah. Interacting with them.
Mm-hmm. For ostensibly like the first time on camera, really.
Yeah.
Max, you got to do it?
Yeah, I got to do it. It just took 5 hours. I got distracted a whole bunch of times. But I thought you were going to get a title, Fallen Sea Dog. So that was kind of disappointing.
Oh, interesting.
I just got 10 doubloons.
I'll have to check on my account and see if I got the Fallen Sea Dog title.
Well, you don't get a title.
Nothing.
You just get 10 doubloons, and I feel completely scammed.
Should have gotten a title.
It was a fun animation, though, that they made at the end. It was cool.
Yeah.
There's no title, but there is a commendation, isn't there?
That's what it is. I thought that it's weird too, because they usually tie titles to the commendations as well.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
Maybe it's not over. Maybe this is just one part of the title.
Maybe we gotta find DeMarco in the Sea of the Damned somewhere.
Maybe
and then
that's
get the title.
That's how we get a title. If not rare, we would like a title.
I feel that the name of the commendation would be a really nice title as well, and that's why I was gutted about it, because I thought that I would rock that title everywhere, without a doubt.
Fallen Sea Dog is a good title.
It is.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's got a good ring to it.
I mean, we did find out a couple of bits about the mystery today, didn't we, Paddy?
I feel you can't leave it at that. You got it.
Patty's muted.
Paddy's refusing to say.
Okay, better that he be on mute if he doesn't want to let slip.
I think we get into trouble. We were told it in amongst a crowd of people. We did ask the question, but we were told that the Siren Queen is again not dead again, and that she didn't die the first time because what was the words used?
I think you guys said that it was portaling.
The animation that was used was very, very similar to her portaling or moving.
Gotcha. I've always been of the mindset that Sea of Thieves is a weird place to begin with. Nothing ever really dies. Like the Gold Hoarder is tied to a curse that the more gold you deliver to him, the more greed that's in the world, the more he comes back and the stronger he is. We come back from the Ferry of the Damned, like, you know, nothing ever really dies, man. It's like we kill the Siren Queen, but of course she comes back. Even the Gold Hoarder's back as a stick. So like we'll see everyone later in the future. I'm not 100% surprised by stuff, but yeah, it was and she's probably not dead from this either. She's probably got it all worked out.
She's not.
So it's interesting that is going to be a persistent baddie that we'll see in the world as well too. I'm trying to think if there was something that I'm missing about this. If you haven't gotten to go do this, there is a video on my YouTube channel of just the recording of me doing the last little bit of it. I really love that Lassetti was saved. I was scared that Lassetti was going to be trapped in that thing. I'm very curious to find out like where DeMarco's soul is, because it still leaves the opportunity for it to be somewhere hidden in our world, potentially in an object, or it could just be in the Sea of the Damned, which I think is the general consensus here. We just have to go find it. NX, you had a thought that you wanted to share?
I've kept up with the mystery since they started it. Finished it up with a friend of mine. We were absolutely excited to see Ramsey finally do something and actually interact with his family members for once in the game. But I like the idea of earlier on when they were trying to essentially set it up to be framing him.
Yeah.
The general idea of Ramsey has always been kind of like this figurehead of like a positive influence in that game. So when you insert something like that, it's going to create doubt. I'm kind of curious what other controversies they can bring up later in the game for the story involving that.
Do you think the general populace, because that was such a front and center thing, do you think the general populace still has the opinion that he's guilty? Do you think enough people have maybe gone and done the ending to the mystery that information has kind of been written off as false?
That's a good question. If you're talking about like the general player base, obviously, but if we're going off like actual like in-game characters,
I like
that
that.
I can't fully say.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit of, well, because I mean we're the only ones in the game that have the lantern, right? Like no one in game has shown that they have the lantern. So for all intents and purposes, we as pirates would be the only ones that could have been suspecting the potential connection between Ramsey's and DeMarco's death, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that as far as lore goes in the world, he's kind of kept his quiet about everything, and he even said as much when he was talking to Lassetti about how he couldn't really speak out because no one would believe him anyway. So it always makes me wonder, like, you know, if something's tied to that specifically, or if it's something that the general populace, like as players do, a lot of people still believe that he's guilty. Has there been enough evidence out there that prove that he was not the one to actually do it? Which is kind of why I took the video, honestly, because I wanted to put it up on YouTube, so that if people didn't have 5 hours to go do this, that they would at least be able to keep up with the ending to the mystery. Did anyone have any other thoughts about the mystery in general? I know it for me at least, it felt like it went on pretty long, but I really did think that the payoff was worth it.
I feel it did go on for a long time, but I do feel like we should have got more than just accommodation and 10 doubloons. I feel a title or a cosmetic would have been fitting to show those dedicated enough to actually go through it. Because realistically, the lantern and the spyglass we're not really going to use, I don't think, going forward, especially the spyglass. You
bring up an interesting, because I would have to check on this, but do we still even have Lissetti spyglass? Because mine changed to my obsidian spyglass after I completed the adventure and got the commendation.
You do still have it, but for some reason it always unequips once you log out.
Yeah, I had that experience before doing the final adventure. I noticed it did keep unequipping itself.
I'm really kind of wondering then, because this is a new approach to how we expect rewards, right? Like typically when we're doing something, adventures have taught us, tall tales have taught us, quests have taught us that the reward is at the end of the adventure, and that's when we get our kind of boons, right? In this case, the mystery has been going on so long that I didn't even really mentally register the fact that we did get cosmetics for this adventure. Even if we didn't participate at the very end, we still were able to go out and get the fallen sea dog lantern. We were able to get Lissetti's spyglass, which for all intents and purposes could have been items that they had stuck at the end of any season, and we probably would have been just as fine with those being objects, just like Merrick's sword or Gloria's sword. So very curious to kind of hear, do you guys are you kind of with me in the tracking as far as like this didn't really feel like the rewards, but maybe these are the rewards, we're using the rewards to kind of further the story?
I think that the rewards were fairly minimal, but it would have been nice to have got, as soon as we've got these new trinkets for the ships, I think it would have been nicer to have something that went in the ship. But kind of, I think we've said this in the past on previous shows, is once you've got a title that you really like, you don't tend to stop using it even when you get another one. The obvious one is the Shrouded Ghost title. That's once you've got it, you don't really want to change it. But it's the same with other titles, though. You find one that you really like, and you might swap it every now and again just to a different one, but you always go back to the one you like. So
yeah,
I'd much rather have a trinket to go on the shelf. I think it was Falcor or someone said like a music box, kind of related to thing. That would have been much better.
Yeah, I think that would have been a nice little nod to the mystery overall. I did think it was funny that I saw someone had posted a tweet about asking whether or not we could get music boxes in the actual ships, which I don't know. Maybe it's just me thinking like, well, I have a like, why do you want Sea of Thieves? We have Sea of Thieves at home, and you just pull out your instrument and play the music that you want.
Yeah.
I actually like the idea of having the music box on the ship, and I think that would have been a really suitable reward.
I think, as a reward, I definitely think I see the tie in there. I personally don't know that I would have put it on there because I have my instruments that I just use, but it would have been cute to have on there. I also would love to see if they could add trinkets to Tall Tale completions. So you get like, Briggsy's hat on the little hat rack, or you get like her mask as like one of the little masks on a stand. George and Rose's little locket for that. Just kind of go back and freshen up some of those Tall Tales with trinkets that you could put in.
One thing I did just think about actually with the if you could have the music box as a reward, that would make it fun for some tuck play.
Oh, just
like start it then hide.
It's a haunted.
Definitely have some fun with that.
Haunted music box. Yeah, you could do that with the instruments if you really wanted to. All right, you guys are getting into an interesting conversation about cosmetics. Patty, do you want to dive into this, or is this too spoilery?
No, it was one of the Q&A things. Somebody asked about obviously all these cosmetics that are seen in adverts and for Sea of Thieves, and the response was that they are all going to be coming to the game at some point. They are just sat waiting for someone to actually do the graphics for them for all the characters that are in Sea of Thieves. Obviously, because all our pirates are different sizes, shapes, etc. So they have a lot of work to do on them, but they will be coming. And also that the Pirate Legend Curse will be making a comeback as a reward at some point. It won't just be for those who were there the first time round.
Interesting. I wonder if they'll tie it to anything specific that's associated with Pirate Legends in that case. Because I like the idea that you get rewarded when you're there present for the season. But something like that, I think, if you missed out on it just by, you weren't there playing the game. Because honestly, like getting that as the reward for hitting level 100 in renown, that's not really, that I don't think of that as a very valuable or a very triumphant thing to have been able to do. Like that's pretty easy to do. But sticking it behind a commendation after the fact, I think might be an interesting way to kind of add some value to it for folks that haven't gotten a chance to actually do it.
Stick it behind a level 30 reward.
Yeah, you could do that, or just wait until there's something else coming down the line and bring it back with that. Like if we get another bump in Athena rewards or levels,
They should stick it behind the legendary Hunter of the Shrouded Ghost reward by killing the Shrouded Ghost 5 times.
well, that's going to be hard. No one will be able to get it at that point because it doesn't exist.
That's the
Me
point.
and Paddy are okay. So.
All right.
You got it once.
He says he got it once. He's got his hands in plenty of pockets.
True.
All right. Well, we're at that time. As we kind of close out, I want to thank you guys all for jumping in, spending some time with me, talking about the adventure and the mystery. It was nice to have a chance to kind of gush about how much I've been enjoying the lore aspect of this, even though we didn't really get a chance to cover the lore in deep. I think I might do that later on after I've gotten some more time with the book. But I've been loving these adventures. I really hope that there's a way for Rare to kind of take these, segregate them from the normal like adventure mode and just have them like on their own little things so that I can go back and do some of these. Cause I really do love like just the experience, like the ritual at the end of the adventures was really fun. I really had a good time doing that. And also like confronting Amaranta at the end of the Merrick murder was probably one of the coolest in-game experiences in Sea of Thieves that I've had. So I'm hoping they do that. But as we kind of go down the list here, if you guys have some parting thoughts or some things you want to share, feel free as we just kind of round things off. So Hefe, thanks for joining. Anything you want to share or leave with?
Yeah, I'm good. It's exciting to see and hear that Rare still has lots of stuff in the tank for Sea of Thieves, and kind of whatever that means. So that makes me happy. So I'm good, and I'm interested and excited to kind of see where things continue to go.
Yeah, same. Carl, anything you want to share or leave with us as we head out?
Just a pleasure as always. Excited to see what happens next, especially the mysteries and the new adventure. But yeah, exciting times ahead.
Definitely. Mina, how about you? How are you feeling with this? Anything you want to share?
No, not really. I'm just curious to see where this adventure takes us to the next point. Other than that,
Awesome. Mutinous, thanks for joining us. Anything you want to leave with us as we head out?
If you start the adventure, if you align with a crew who's doing the adventure right now, you might get a bugged adventure by starting with the final chapter. So don't align with people who are doing the adventure.
That's good PSA, actually. I forgot you mentioned that earlier. And Norwegian, anything you want to share with us as we head out?
Nope, just enjoying the direction the game's going. I think they're making the right steps with the lore, and can't wait to see what they have next.
Yeah, definitely. And NX, anything you want to share with us?
Not much else. Cannot talk. Nothing much else besides what's been said with everything they've been culminating with Ramses, Bell, Merrick, Dark Brotherhood, Flameherd. I'm curious how they're gonna make all these things come together.
Yeah, you and me both. Patty, we're heading out. What do you got left?
Nothing in general for myself, but after spending the afternoon with Mike Chapman and a little bit of time with Joe Neat, I am very happy with what Rare want to do and are trying to do with this game for the community. We all know the game has its issues, so do they, and it frustrates them probably more than it does us that there are bugs, hit reg, etc. with this game.
Yeah, I'll probably speak on that afterwards. And then, Mike, anything you want to share or leave with us?
Yeah, no, just second there what Paddy said. And those people, not me particularly, but those people that were missing the arena, having spent some time speaking to some of the streamers that obviously enjoyed the arena, they're all very excited for the next season. So if you were an arena fan, you should be excited for the next season.
Awesome. Good tease there. And honestly, I just want to thank you guys all for jumping in. The community is what really makes this game as special as it is. Rare does a fantastic job of building a sandbox for us to play in. And I think it's as much fun as we want to make it for ourselves, right? So if you guys are having a hard time out there, it's always worth it to kind of assess, like, who are you playing with? Are you playing with others? Finding people to play with, or even just taking a break from the game if it's just not doing it for you, right? But I always think that this is a fun time to kind of sit down with everyone, get to chat about some of the things that are going on in the game. And I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone comes with the next episode. Cause I think it's going to be an interesting episode next month to see like what's going on. We'll have to check and see what the actual timing of that is going to be. But if you're interested and you're part of the Patreon, we should be recording. Gosh, I think this will actually be on the 29th of October because the last Monday is actually Halloween. So yeah, chances are we'll probably be recording on the 29th of October. If you want to join up for the patrons to be able to jump into these, just head over to patreon.com/Keelhauled podcast. It's in the captain tier. You'll get access to the Discord channel with the recording that we're in right now. And I'll set up an event for this. I really hope that I'm able to kind of touch base with you all next month for the next recording and see what you guys feel about the next update, whatever it may be.
That's good.
You've been listening to a Robots Radio podcast. Smart shows for interesting people. Check out all the shows at robotsradio.net.
Hey, I'm Tom.
And I'm Stuart.
And we're from the Dungeons & Dragons Lorecast.
We talk about all things connected to D&D lore.
And we're on the Robots Radio Network. So if you're into Dungeons & Dragons or you're into lore, then come check us out. You can find us on any podcatcher, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you get podcasts.
Roll more dice.
That's the Dungeons & Dragons Lorecast.
Are you into the cyberpunk tabletop games or excited for Cyberpunk 2077? Are you looking to brush up on the lore, stay up on all the latest news, and talk about the game when it comes out? Check out the Cyberpunk Lorecast, a show from Robots Radio with me, your host, Robots. We'll go over all the details you need to know about the world, characters, and story of Cyberpunk. Available on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.